Hello, everyone. This is the company-wide strategy review from the tasks that I was assigned. So that's what we've been asked to do, is literally look at the document and then explain what happened, what was good, what was bad. And so I'm going to do it that way. So where my name is in this communication summary, I'm going to highlight the goal, for example, this one here, and then I'll say how well it went or how well it did not go. And I'm going to tackle it that way. Cool. So the first one said, create landing page on coastoutdoors.ca to advertise products for specific programs and track sales through website to determine strategy. Okay, so this one here modified slightly in that it was originally supposed to be specific, and then we switched it over to generic paddling stuff. And this bit here, we ended up not using promo codes because it didn't make sense to discount the products. We just wanted people to buy it, so we got rid of that as well. So if you go on the Deep Cove Kayak website, you'll see the shop kayak lesson recommended gear icon there at the bottom, or like the image, and then we create the page on the right hand side. So here it is. You scroll down, and then the cool thing, if you look at the analytics for landing pages throughout the season, this one came in and was the 8th highest page ranking page for Coast Outdoors. So, you can see 1,665 sessions, like people landing on that. So that, that didn't end up in a newsletter. It didn't go on a post or anything. It was simply get it on the website, link through. So that one was pretty good. So for this goal, I'm going to give it 2 thumbs up. Okay, so increase business during off-peak times and see an increase in monthly sales in April, May, and October. Now, it is not October. We're still in September. So, we're obviously looking at April and May. And then obviously inside of this, you see early bird rentals. Early bird rentals really only kicked in June and July, I believe, and they were there in August. So the goal was a little bit, the months were just not listed right, but that's okay. We still did some work. So anyway, short notice on discount during poor weather. We just did not do this. We did some research on it, and we found out that essentially you had to just make the price of the rentals cheaper in general during a shitty period of time. So we changed that over to 15% off midweek, but it was nothing to do with poor weather. So we modified that one. So I'll talk about this one. Early bird rentals, sell is the goal. And then, so what we did here for early bird rentals was a lot of stuff. The biggest one was Flybook on the left. We put it in here. We had early bird rentals. So there it's positioned at the bottom because we've been asked to move it to the bottom, but this was actually the top of the grid. So most traffic saw this at some point. We also had it here. And again, in these examples, you're going to see, so mid-season pass, but I haven't gone to the bother of photoshopping stuff from the past. I'm just going to show you where things were. And we put it on the deals page here. If you remember that page, they were in newsletters and stuff. So, and this was the 15% off midweek that we put in social media and on emails. So that bit there in general, like this goal, I'm going to give it 1 thumbs up because we didn't put a poor weather strategy together. This season. Moving on. Okay, next goal was promotion of Kate's and JBK everywhere on DCK website. So it's, front page, lessons, tours, socials, blah, blah, blah. And then, we absolutely blitzed the DCK website page. There were banners on all the lesson pages, tours, rentals, and stuff like that. It was pretty excessive. We had other locations. We added a new thing at the top here. It had its own landing page for other waterfront locations. You'll see on the left, this is like the rental page, the main page. And then we also shoehorned it into the Flybook landing page. So the thing on the right-hand side was actually the most impactful out of all. We had it in the feature spotlight down here as well. And because we set it up with these cool UTM parameters, we can see, some revenue coming in for JBK there. Now, it doesn't sound like 21 grand doesn't sound like much. I realize that in the grand scheme of one season. But it's more indicative of the, success of the campaign because due to privacy, we're never going to see the true impact of this. This is just the people, for example, that allowed cookies on their phones and stuff like that. So very successful all in all. So I'm going to give that one 2 thumbs up. All right, so 100% increase in advanced lesson sales. So you'll see there that it said increased marketing effort. So I'm going to focus on this bit. I don't actually have the numbers for the advanced sales. That'll be in a KPI doc at some point before the meeting, so you'll have to reference that at some point. But I'm just going to talk about the increased marketing effort. You'll see a bunch of marketing that we did there. I just made some notes throughout the season, and so we definitely increased the marketing effort for this. 1 thumbs up, because I don't know. I didn't get to reference the KPI documents to see if that was actually effective. Okay, the next one was 20% increase in private lesson sales. So I know that this one failed, and I would like to put my hand up and say that I could have done better here, and I could have done more for the private lesson sales department. We had, just to break down the individual pieces, we got rid of the instructor bios on that. And when you look through, so we did put the private lesson sales on the top of the grid, you'll see on the left-hand side. So that just means like, if you click lessons and you have to like sort of like go through, scroll through, like these were high up, and then you'll see some social media posts that we did this year. And so Katie ended up doing this one here as well. And so appreciative of that, but I'm just going to hold my hands up and say like, yeah, I could have flagged it earlier. And provided more maybe content, more support there. And so, I just want to say, I just want to apologize to Katie. Could have done more for you there. That's on me. We'll get you a better strategy next year, I promise. And so I saw this, Katie did do a KPI document here. And so, you'll see that it's a 12 grand shy of the goal for private lesson tours. So that's, like I said, on me, and I think next season I can do more for that department. So with this 20% increase in lesson sales, I'm going to give that one a thumbs down. Okay, so grow JBK customer base by focusing on sunset tours, rentals, and group sales. So this goal broke down into 5 pieces. So these were 5 like ideas, if you will, for growing the customer base for those things. So 4 of the 5 things here are sort of like binded together a little bit, and we got them done. So, and then the 4th one here, we did not get done sufficiently. So I'll just talk about what we did do right first. Identify and execute marketing initiatives through social media and physical advertising. So that came in, there's the physical advertising on the left-hand side, and then we use social media through Meta Ads Manager. And that was that's what we identified, and that's what we executed as our marketing initiatives. So the ads, we ran ads, got done. We had at least 3 boosted videos. We had something like 8 or maybe 12 done. And then we had group reels that we put inside the ads done. In general, like this is an overview of all the campaigns for JBK. So if we spent 3,174 during the, this is September the 15th to September the 15th this year. That's where I'm pulling these figures, by the way. And then I can break these down. So here's a cool little thing that I was quite proud of maybe this year. And it was just in general, you'll see that JBK has a ROAS. That's a word for return on ad spend. So for, every dollar that you spent on advertising for Jericho, we made 6 back. And you'll see across the board, like with Coast as well, we did, good progress. I'd set things up a lot better this year. It was just an improved strategy. But anyway, this is how they sort of scaled down or broke into pieces. So $432 spent, and then group bookings, 2,732. Now, this is an interesting figure because the group bookings is usually something that comes through on a form that you fill out. So interestingly, basically people were clicking on this and they weren't necessarily, they were like, cool, paddling looks fun. I'm just going to go rent something and I'll spend my money on something else. And so revenue came in not just on group bookings, but it just went elsewhere. And that's the challenge as well. Like sometimes you'll show paddling and you'll think, oh, I'm showing someone a private lesson. And realistically, you're just showing them the fun of paddling. And then they go on the website and spend their money on a rental, for example. So that's why that number is there. And so the reach then, 12,541. Impressions were 33,613. And the ROAS was 6.3, which is really good, even though we were optimizing for form fills. Okay, gift cards, we spent $166 on, and we only got 184, so the ROAS was 1.1. That sucked. Hiring, we spent $211, and there's no conversion value because the thing that we got was staff, not money in that case. Obviously, the staff helped us make more money, but yep, that's that. And then rentals, we spent 1,000, got 5,000 back. So, you'll see the reach 25,000. It's hitting people's mobiles. It appeared on mobiles 100,000 times. And then you have a ROAS of 5. So we have Sunset Tours, 767 spent and 10,786 with a ROAS of 14. This one was absolutely bonkers. I've learned a lot from this, and I've learned a lot from Coast Outdoors' meta ads I've been running as well. So it's getting better, but I also have to give credit here to Breel. Breel's Reels is what we coined the term in the season. That also helped us sort of have a good mix of content in here, which really helped. Cool. So trip planning, 100 spent, 378. So you're probably looking at these figures going like, why are we bothering looking at such small amounts of money? I'd probably just agree, but this is the strategic goal document you asked, and so I'm delivering that information. We have FHF radio, so that's 200 spent, and we had no conversion values online recorded. Privacy settings, I always say this, is probably factored in. Also, if you're only spending $200, good luck creating any conversions. It's really tough. And then so when it comes to these 4, then I'm going to give these 4 pieces 2 thumbs up. And then we have SEO, website tweaks, adding blog posts, for example. We did end up I put together an SEO content creation strategy document, so that you could use it to understand how you would add blog posts to your website. But we didn't end up adding blog posts to the website. So I think maybe this is an off-season bit of work that we can do. But either way, I'm going to give that one a thumbs down because it just didn't get done. Cool. So the next goal we have here is a Coast Outdoors one. So if my name is connected to it, but we have Pam or Bram listed, Bram's going to cover them. So I'm just going to talk about what I did in this, and they were all really well done. Everything was achieved. That's the plot spoiler. So if you look here, this is a document that I prepared, which I thought was quite cool. So let me explain this. This is the general newsletter, and you'll see the date the emails were sent out. You'll see hyperlinks, so you can go in and investigate each email. And then what I did was I checked to see what we were talking about in the email. So you'll see like this is position 1 in the email, this is the next thing in the email, this is the next thing in the email, and so on and so forth. And green being Coast, blue being TCK, orange JBK, purple is DCC, and then red is Kate's Park Paddling Center. And then so like in this case, for example, when the sales come through, like we get messages, we talk with Pam and I will talk and share assets, and then they get moved over to the general newsletter. And in general, like you'll see like Coast Outdoors does get a good lion's share. I know we're pivoting from JBK to Coast right now, but anyway, I can share this document so that you can have your own 2 cents on it. And you can sort of maybe share some feedback anyway, but cool. So that's how we did the cross thing there. 2 thumbs up on that one. Let's move on. We got paid ads budget confirmation. So we got 20 to 22K on Google, 7K on Meta. Boom, that was an easy one. Paid ads went in-house on Google Ads. This was hard for me, but it went really well. And then the same thing can be said about paid ads Meta. So I'm just going to break these down here for you. So this is Coast specific. And we have last year, so 14,866 with 72,000 that came through. This year we spent, it's 21,672, and then we made 195,794. Now I have to do this is more for the marketing team to understand, but I'm just going to say it here just to avoid confusion. I am using Google Ads like in-app data, by the way, and I'm not using GA4 to pull the information out when I'm looking at like cost and then conversion value, 196,000 or whatever. So just so you know, I'm going in-app and I'm not at GA4. Anyway, let's get back into this one. Where are we at? Cool. So that GA4 had a ROAS of 9x, which I absolutely knocked out of the park. I was so stoked with that. And I can't really, if I was here breaking down every campaign that I tended to, I'd be here forever. I spend a day per week just tending to these campaigns inside of Google Ads, but all that to say, we're not going to have any more fancy graphics. It just went really well in general. And then Meta for in-house for Coast Outdoors. Then last year we had a ROAS of 1.35 in general. This year we were close to 4. So every $1 you spent, you made 4 back. So this is the money printing machine ratio for Coast here. Okay, this is maybe a note to maybe Bob and Arian, and I can recognize that you might glaze over and say, well, $21,000 is not that much in the grand scheme of things with your efforts here. But it's more indicative of did the campaign go well or not. Mainly because when you run an ad, if they spend money in store, then it won't turn up here. You're looking at e-commerce figures. So although, yes, we did make that money, please know that the value is much larger than it appears on here because it helps people, it helps put the idea of a sale, for example, in their minds. It helps push them in store. So you're looking at relative effectiveness, and you're not looking at the big picture of how much money did it make total, because we will never know. But anyway, that's just my little side piece here. Okay, and with that preamble done, let's go look at let's zoom in a little bit then. So Boxing Week sale, spent 1.3, got 5.3 online. So again, ROAS, return on ad spend, is what you want to be looking at. And just think of stuff like reach. So, these ads reached 250,000 people. And the impressions, the amount of times it turned up on a device is 470,000 times. So try to think of those figures, not like, hey, 5,000 is not that much in the grand scheme of things. August sale, 1.2 spent, 5.2 earned. And the awesome thing about this is that we didn't reach that many people, but we still got a good relative ROAS. And that's just down to the strategy behind the ads, which targeted the right people. So I was super stoked about how that went. The idea is if you understand how to turn $1 into 5 or 6, then you can scale it up, spend more, and earn more. But until you get good ROAS, there's no point in you spending more on Meta ads to try to make more money. But either way, it's good. ROAS is good here, people. The inflatable sup ones wasn't so good. That had a negative, so it's 0.53. I still can't understand what happened there because I thought they were really good. Okay, ski packages, you'll see 500 and then 1,475. Now, obviously with ski packages, you have to be in store to get the 10% off. So, interestingly, when you show people skiing and then you show them good deals on skis, they go on the website and they end up buying stuff. So please keep in mind as well, like I said earlier, we're looking at e-commerce figures. We're looking at stuff that was purchased online. And so it's not indicative of the people that we sent into the store. So we reached, for example, 14,207 people, and it was highly targeted to people in the local area of Vancouver because that's the only way that we could do the 10% off for those people. So it still ended up being beneficial. It's just that that $1,475 was just different items that were spent, different skis or boots or whatever on the website, and it wasn't really connected to the ski packages because it's impossible to buy a ski package online. Anyway, so we had some ski sales. This one was absolutely bonkers. I was actually asked to turn this one off because I got some of the finer details wrong. But one thing that I didn't get wrong was like the ROAS on this one. And so I did learn a fair bit on this, and I am going to be deploying the same type of style this year as well, because it was just so darn good. But yeah, so, and you'll notice on this one, like the reach, for example, is 38,274, and the impressions are low. So the biggest difference between, our efficacy of meta ads from this year to last year was that they were like a lot more targeted. The audience strategy and who we showed them ads to was a lot better this year. So I'm stoked to have evolved that aspect, into its current state. Yeah, and that's all great. So I'm going to give these 3 things 2 thumbs up. So let's go to the next one then. We have SEO strategy, we have blog strategy, there's an onboarding tool, SEO, SOPs, strategic development. Yeah, basically the biggest difference we made when it comes to upgrading our SEO game is that we really put the magnifying glass on our website, and we were trying to hit page 1. So we had strategies for how we were going to update the pages. We would meet up about once a month, and then we would sort of like find out if we're almost on page 1, let's do some changes, see if we can get to page 1. And so we would, say, cool, we've got the Outrigger canoe thing almost to page 1 in July or whatever. And we were sort of like incrementally going through it. So that was pretty good. So if we go back to this goal, you'll see the SEO standard operating procedure documents, onboarding tool, and blog strategy. All of those things got done as well. And so I'm going to give this goal 2 thumbs up. All right, so now let's talk about MailChimp automation. So this one here was simply the idea of a flow email. So you'll see that we had the $25 off pop-up here. And the idea was that rather than just doing email blasts manually each week or whatever, that we could design a system that automatically sends emails out, and we cover more ground. And so this aspect here, it does have my name on it, but it's a Pam project. Basically, she ran with the idea and then smashed it, knocked it out of the park. So I, credit to Pam, she pulled that automation together. The next one we'll talk about is the Flybook email automation, which is easier actually than MailChimp's one. So, Flybook basically allows you to send an email 24 hours, 48 hours, whatever you want to set. And then essentially we ran ads for Coast's sale in August. And that was really good. It basically sent the equivalent of a newsletter, like a Lightspeed newsletter amount of people to the website, and we didn't have to do anything. So I'm really excited about that and building that further in our next phase now. But those 2 definitely 2 thumbs up. Okay, so just some final thoughts. Throughout the season, we had plenty of stuff that we were doing, and I was looking at the grid and basically trying to work out, okay, well, were there any tasks that we were asked to do that weren't on the document, the strategic goals document? And in general, there was. So we ended up, our focal points maybe switched a little bit as we went through the season. I also want to give credit to Pippa as well. So you'll see, like, for example, the cadence in February and March. And then once we got Pippa in, it just started like lighting up. And then Pam also did a good job with the reels and stuff like that. But I guess the point I'm making here is, especially with that tragic incident that we had, earlier in the year, some of the things that were on our document, like the strategic goal document, maybe they weren't tended to as well because we were juggling other things too. And so, yeah, maybe just trying to work out how we can maybe factor those extra projects into the, strategic company-wide document might be a cool thing to do, in the next phase of, this whole North Star document, if you will. Like I said, I will provide a document for what we got right, what we sort of got right, and what we got wrong, for example. I'll also provide links to the newsletter, thing, so you can take a look yourself if you're interested. And yeah, you can reference some of the documentation. That won't be available whilst you're listening to this. It will be available closer to the strategy meeting, though. But anyway, without faffing around too much here, I just want to say thanks for watching. Cheers, everyone.